Yo, what's up? Tuna here. Today's video, I wanted to showcase the build that I've been playing in Torchlight Infinite. I rerolled this build on the first day after I realized I didn't really like Selena. It's a really good build. Yeah, I really just want to show it to you guys. A little showcase of what it can do, how strong it is. So I haven't put all that much into my build at the moment. I'm maybe about 1,000 FE in investment. And it is dealing some pretty decent damage for, this league's standards. I've reached about 5 billion damage on the dummy, and of course this is enough to pretty much take on 8-1, and 8-2 is kind of a struggle, but kind of going to be showing you guys what 8-0 looks like and basically that kind of stuff. That is a pretty interesting thing right there. But yeah, this is going to be a 8-0 boss kill. You can get an idea, and it's pretty good. It's like really fast. It's an auto bomber type playstyle. I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's on Space-Time Elapse Youga. So that's Youga 1, the Space-Time Illusion. So yeah, there's a lot of really interesting mechanics with this build, and it is really a lot of fun. But the premise of this build is that you are not dealing damage with your own spells. What happens is that you summon 2 clones, and these 2 clones are dealing the damage. So you can see that my skill here is blacked out. If I right click, nothing happens. So the playstyle of the build is basically that your dudes are just shooting chain lightning at everything, while I am just, basically walking around, making sure I'm picking up loot, and also, keeping myself safe and that kind of stuff. This is the playstyle. It's an auto bomber, and it really pops off. I've seen people that have pushed this build up to 45 billion damage so far, and it looks like the ceiling is really, really high this season because of the new priceless gear. The new priceless gear, which is like really expensive to craft, adds like a whole other layer of min-max. There's some really insane modifiers that you can get on those. Like, for example, I was looking at an amulet earlier. Oh, I almost died. I was looking at an amulet earlier, and you can get like fervor on it, as well as +1 spell burst, or global spell levels, like things like that. Things are pretty crazy, honestly. But yeah, this build is insane at the moment, and I've really been enjoying it. I'll do a little showcase of the gear as soon as I've cleared the map. And yeah, it's pretty good, as you guys can see, just running around and blowing everything up. And here's the boss. Very nice. Taking a look at the gear, I am using Surging Inspiration, and I corroded this one myself. It actually has the best in slot corrosion for it, but it has a really low roll on the additional spell damage. So yeah, when you get additional damage, this is the roll that you really want to look for, and if you want to corrode it, then this is going to be the corrosion that you want. For the amulet, I'm using Photophobia. This is because this allocates beacon, right? So this is going to allow us to take a different node there instead of beacon. For the rest of the gear, it's going to be pretty generic stuff. So energy shield, intelligence, defenses here on the belt, as well as resistances. The rings as well, my rings are terrible. Energy shield, damage, intelligence, resistance, and it's the same here on the second ring. On the body armor, you can get % intelligence as well as flat intelligence, and then just gear, energy shield. Gloves as well, it's going to be like intelligence, energy shield, critical strike damage, or critical strike chance as well, as the suffixes are really good. Then for the boots, +1 lightning is really, really strong. Then I got damage, energy shield, and resistances on the suffixes. So this is like the kind of gear that I've been replacing my stuff with. Yeah, it's pretty easy to craft. Like, it's really easy to craft. It just costs a little bit of FE. So, and then for the weapons, I recrafted these as well. For +2 lightning skill levels, you want lightning damage to spells ideally, because most of your auras are buffing your lightning damage, but I was too lazy to do that. But you can see it here. Lightning damage to spells, lightning skill levels, intelligence, elemental damage, cast speed, spell damage, and that sort of stuff. Now, there's some pretty insane people running this build. I want to show you guys like a crazy min-max version of this. So if I look at the rankings and I click this guy here, what he's using is pretty insane. So the body armor is going to look pretty similar, except he doesn't even have % attributes on it. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But here, look at this amulet, like ES, +1 spell burst, int, aura effect, cast speed, fire. That's a really good amulet. He's using eternity as well, which you can put on here. That's pretty crazy for mapping. The gloves are also really strong. Israel's Law. These gloves are pretty insane. I would probably buy those if I got a little bit more currency. His boots are just going to be the same as mine, with cooldown recovery speed, but with also +2 lightning spell skill gems. And then look at this weapon here. You got a weapon with +1 max focus stack implicit, and then another +1 max focus. That's +2 focus blessings, +3 spell skill level, and then it's got spell skill level as well, lightning damage, spell level, spell crit, and additional spell damage for skills cast by. Like this alone, this wand alone would double my damage, like quite easily. Would double my damage, so that's pretty insane. This is kind of like the top gear that you can get at the moment. Actually, this one is currently available to copy, so you can actually mirror service it. Yeah, it costs like an absolute ton to craft yourself. So, but yeah, that would be what it looks like if you were to absolutely min-max the hell out of it. But I will share a build code for this build as well, so you guys can copy it. But we go for Goddess of Knowledge, go for Magister, and also Warlock. So for Goddess of Knowledge, we're going to be taking Chili. That is going to be the way that we actually get focus blessings, and that's why we want the beacon amulet. You're going to be getting beacon from your amulet or from your slate. Totally up to you, although the slates are pretty expensive, so keep that in mind. You go for Chili here, and then the second one is going to be Insight for the additional damage that you get from that. It's just insane. It's going to be worth for you 30%. Then we path through the damage there, grab some cast speed, some critical strike rating, travel all the way here. We go for Intelligence, percent int, +1 spell, max focus blessing. And I like to grab this one because having additional frostbite on the enemies is going to be pretty good. So we're going to be getting a bunch of chance to inflict frostbite on the way there. And also the additional damage against frostbitten enemies is pretty decent too. Then we go for the Magister, and on the Magister we have Bunch, +1 max focus blessing stack, and additional spell damage for each focus blessing you own. That means that on our slates as well, we're going to be getting a bunch of focus blessings wherever we can. And the second one is going to be Play Safe, and it's going to be giving you cast speed also applied to your spell burst recharge speed, basically. So the more cast speed you have, the faster your spell burst recharges. Then minor talents, you just go through the damage, grabbing some cast speed, a little bit of crit where you can, defenses, as well as more defenses here. So that's energy shield, right? And some elemental res, so it's really good value. +1 max spell burst into critical strike damage per focus blessing owned. Intelligence, and also here some defenses, some flat ES per int, and also allowing you to basically charge your ES once you get into a low status, meaning your ES goes down, starts recharging, and that's a bit of extra defenses. Then finally Warlock. Warlock is just crazy because it gives you +2 all skill levels when you spec Indifference, and off the beaten track, which kind of allows you to have all of these auras active. Increased damage there, some cast speed, some critical strike chance. You can go through more damage here, but I ended up skipping it in favor of some talents like the Frostbite talents that I talked about earlier. Cooldown recovery is really nice for your movement ability, and +1 charges too. That's just going to mean that you get more charges on your active skills, on your skill bars, your +1 all skill levels, and as much resistance as you need from this node. Now for the skills, we want to have Web of Lightning as well as Merge. These are the new sort of like support skill gems that we have. Then we use Jump, Lightning to Cold, because we want to convert all of our cold damage. And also this skill gem is just insane. Additional lightning damage and converts everything. Then Psychic Burst, because yeah, it's just going to give you additional damage for skills cast by Spell Burst. And basically we have no damage outside of Spell Burst anyways, so yeah. Then we have Icebound, going to be activated with Activation Medium Spell Burst. These are really, really cheap. You can buy them, yeah, they're really, really cheap. Just get them with as much duration as possible, if you can, or cooldown recovery rate as well. I believe it rolls with, actually no, it's just duration. So yeah, get it with as much duration as possible. Then we have Well Fought Battle, Mass Effect. Then I like to use Frigid Transmission, but you can also use Speed Phantom if you want. Magic Dash, Quick Mobility, and Grudge. Grudge makes you have, it paralyzes your enemy, means they take increased damage, sorry. And because we are going to be near our enemy with Elemental Destruction, this means that we are going to be applying that paralyze since we are hitting a cursed enemy. So there's a percentage chance for that to happen, but it's a nice DPS boost for basically free. Then Secret Origin just gives you a ton of extra spell damage and cast speed per focus blessing, so that's pretty good because we're stacking a bunch of those. Mass Effect and Well Fought Battle just to make it stronger, and Activation Medium so we don't have to cast that ever. And same with this Activation Medium, Terrain of Malice, cooldown reduction and increased area, so it's up 100% of the time. We're using Elemental Destruction instead of Biting Cold. That is because, as you can see here, Elemental Destruction has a +10. But if I was to change this to Biting Cold instead, this would be a +4. right? So we definitely want to have elemental destruction. Instead, it's just going to be a lot more damage, like about 5 to 6% more damage. For the auras, you go for precise electric conversion with seal conversion, restraint, and aura amplification. Then we're going to use summon flame spirit with restraint and superpower, and then precise elemental amplification as well with aura amplification and restraint. Now for the last one, we are actually not using an aura here, but I put something in there so that it doesn't give me the little pop-up that says like you're missing a skill slot. So yeah, this one is going to be empty, so make sure you have that empty. And then for your soul candles, you want 2 candles with jump. Alternatively, you can have more damage on your candles, but jump is just really nice because it's going to give you more clear and it'll feel just overall really good. So that's it for the skills. Now let's talk a little bit about the hero traits, what we want on our memories too. Ideally, if your critical strike chance is not capped, you want as much critical strike chance as possible, and the secondary stat depends on you, so cast speed, cold damage, energy shield, that sort of stuff, all good. Leveling these up is going to give you a substantial damage increase, as you can see that. Well, once they're leveled to trait level +2, you get a little bit more damage there. So yeah, this one has a spell critical strike rating and damage as well, and a bunch of energy shield. The energy shield is really nice on the implicit there. Intelligence is really nice on the implicit here. And here I went for movement speed, but cast speed is going to be much better damage-wise. But movement speed just feels good, so I grabbed a bunch of movement speed because when our frigid transmission is down, we want to be moving from pack to pack quicker, so that's just overall better. Yeah, we're going to be getting me and myself endless mana, and also I'm an illusion. And I'm an illusion is what basically makes it so that you can't cast the spell, rather it's going to be your illusions that are casting the spells themselves. Last but not least, well, let's take a look at the statue of the new god. So as I said earlier, here you're going to be wanting to get a slate. Like peculiar vibe is really good. There's also going to be penetrating. Just any major talent that gives you additional damage will be good. Rushed as well is pretty good. And if you can get one with beacon here, and this would allow you to replace your amulet for something else. As you saw, that guy that I showed you earlier wasn't using the amulet that I'm using. That's because he had beacon here, but I just bought this, and so I'm trying to fit it into my setup. But yeah, and then you're going to be wanting to get +1 max spell burst at least on one slate. Ideally, you want +1 lightning wherever possible as well. So if you can get it on these extra nodes, that's bonus points. Chance to gain tenacity blessing and agility blessing. You want one of these. Absolutely, because agility blessings are insane. They give you additional damage and attack and cast speed, and it stacks up to 4, so that's going to be 8% additional damage and a bunch of like cast speed and stuff like that. I thought it gave movement speed as well, but it doesn't. And max focus blessing here, and there's going to be another slate that you can get max focus blessing on, but currently I cannot fit it in my setup, and the only way you can do that is if you get the legendary slates as opposed to these. But I think there is really good value in knowledge slates, and if you get legendary nodes to put where you can put like max focus blessings there and keep re-rolling until you get that, there's really high value in this. So as I said, my build is really not min max at the moment, and you can really take it further. I recommend you guys check out the hero rankings if you're interested in seeing what these guys are doing, and especially seeing what that crazy guy is doing here on the rankings too. But I will share my build code, something that you guys can follow. But yeah, you can see that in his slates, he's doing some crazy stuff with additional jumps, as well as she's just stacking pure jumps, spell burst, chance to gain, max focus blessings. Like that's a crazy slate right there. That's something that you probably would look to strive towards. And then his candles, he's going for rebirth as apparently, so that's going to be giving him a bunch of regen, I suppose, but with the downside of elemental res, and then some mana there and more jumps. Like he really likes jumps, so jumps are going to be giving you like a ton more clear as well as single target because of the support that we're using. You can see here the merge support, and this one is just going to be giving you a ton of damage through shotgunning, so it allows you to shotgun basically. The jumps are going to be good. That pretty much sums up the build. I will be sharing my build code with you guys, so you can check that out. And I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you have a nice day. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.